Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni Viewer, and welcome to Genre Benders, Obscurities, and Flawed Gems, where we look at the best stuff you've never heard of. Today is Arbor Day, that rarely acknowledged holiday that celebrates trees in all their treeness. No, it's not. You missed it, remember? Oh, yeah, that's right, I was sick. Well, anyway, that's not gonna stop me from reviewing the camp classic from the 1950s, From Hell It Came. A tribe on a South Pacific island is suffering from a plague. Although there are American scientists present trying to provide help, that goes against the plans of the tribe's power-hungry medicine man who recently poisoned the chief so he could take over. A young man named Chemo tried to oppose him, but he was framed for the old chief's death and executed, though he swore vengeance with his final breath. Only a day later, a strange plant grows from Chemo's grave, one that seems to be as much animal as it is vegetable. The scientists think it might be a mutation, but the tribe believe it is the vengeful spirit of Chemo come back from the dead as a beast called the Tabanga. Whatever it is, nobody will be safe once it starts moving around. As I'm sure regular viewers of the channel have figured out by now, I have a soft spot for campy movies, as long as the campiness is enjoyable. From Hell It Came definitely fits that description. This is clearly a B picture, and the evidence suggests that only so much effort was put into the making of it. For example, this has got to be the least convincing depiction of a tropical island I've ever seen in a movie. Consider the various shots in which we see foliage such as pine trees and bushes with the tiny leaves one expects from a temperate zone. The scenery is instantly recognizable as Southern California, and very little is done to disguise it. Even less is done to hide the fact that these Pacific Islanders are all played by Caucasians, some of whom aren't even trying to hide their Brooklyn and Jersey accents. Observe.
I begged our great chief, do not listen to the false voices of the strangers.
Dr. Mason, you are a wise lady.
We'll have our bravest men hunted down and kill him. As long as the Tabanga is free, we are all in danger.
Takano, why did you destroy the Tabanga with medicine?
Yep, they're from the South Pacific. East Side. But of course, the monster is the cheesiest thing about this movie. While the idea behind it is certainly creative, and I'll expand on that later, the execution of the Tabanga is laughably low budget. It has a striking outline when viewed from the front, but it nearly vanishes when viewed from the side. The scowl built into the face is trying so hard to be intimidating that it instead reads as comical. Much like Reptilicus, this is a time when the monster looks way better on the poster than it does in the movie. Oh, and the poor guy in the suit can barely move in it, so the Tabanga has an unnatural way of shuffling around and looks like it would struggle to pick people up. When it kills the chief, I'm not even sure what it's supposed to have done to him. They just awkwardly embrace, and then the bad guy falls over dead. Speaking of awkward, the American characters don't fare much better than the Islanders. The actors all seem to be under the impression that scientists are stoic even when they're emotional, which results in romantic scenes filled with all the passion of a high school algebra lesson. Throw in some uncomfortable close-ups and you have a movie that ensures any couple who watches it will retire to separate bedrooms afterward. Then you have a British woman thrown in who serves as comic relief, but she only shows up at the very beginning and the very end, and she contributes nothing at all to the plot, and there's an outcast island girl who contributes even less. It's a quintessential B-movie sci-fi cast in all its stilted glory, just the way you would imagine such a cast to be. Make no mistake, my friends, From Hell It Came is an incredibly schlocky movie. But it's just so enjoyably schlocky. The term "so bad it's good" can definitely apply here, as the elements all come together in such a strange way that you simply cannot help but be fascinated by the result. It's the kind of movie that you can have fun with despite the low quality, and in my book that counts for a lot. I also kinda like the way that Tabanga is handled in this movie. Not necessarily through special effects, but in how it's depicted. You see, any other movie of this era would have presented a scientific explanation for the monster by the end. Even if things seemed supernatural at first, there would have been some kind of a rational sounding answer that puts it all to rest. But in From Hell It Came, the Tabanga is handled a bit more ambiguously. You see, the reason we even have American scientists on the island is because a nuclear test was done more than 100 miles away, but a freak storm carried the fallout to this location. The scientists went to check out the extent of the damage, but they were surprised to find radiation levels so low that there was no danger. They only stuck around to try helping out with the plague. Can't have America responsible for the nuclear holocaust, right? Well, not in the 50s they couldn't. Now, when the Tabanga first starts growing out of the ground, the scientists are shocked to detect radiation emanating from it. This leads them to think that it must be a mutation of some sort, but the natives recognize the plant as a being from their history, as one ran rampant a few years ago before the nuclear tests began. The Tabanga also has the same knife in its chest that Kima was stabbed with, and it specifically attacks the people who betrayed him. The thing is also surprisingly invulnerable to any conventional methods of destruction, although that could be the result of either magic or mutation. By the end, we still don't know if the Tabanga's origin is supernatural, scientific, or a combination of the two. In a better movie, that could have been a great source of horror. Even in this movie, though, the ambiguity is still interesting to debate. In fact, it's the most interesting thing about the movie. Well, for as incredibly imperfect as it is, I still enjoy watching From Hell It Came from time to time, and if you're in the right mood for it, I think you guys will enjoy the campiness as well. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. Well, say what you want about the Tabanga, but at least it's better at respecting boundaries than the tree from the Evil Dead. If you know, you know.